Sasha, great to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
It's so interesting because after season one of Exo Kitty kind of wrapped, and then it comes out, like everyone was excited to see it, and then it was amazing, big hit for Netflix. People were waiting to see even like I want more episodes, and now they're finally getting it. And I kind of
Yeah.
want to know, with that being said, with a show that was so popular when it instantly hit, what was it like kind of joining a show like this specifically, where there was so much hype for it coming back for a season two? Because that's something I noticed a lot, specifically with this one.
I mean, it was as it sounds, it's insane to be added to a cast of a show that has such a strong fan base and that people are so passionate about. I mean, once I got to Korea, the entire cast, we were all just buzzing and so happy. I was happy to just be there, but even the previous cast, they were so happy to be back because there was a bit of a time gap between season one and season two.
Yeah. And like, how much do you know in regards to kind of getting involved, the audition process? Like, do you know you're auditioning for Exo Kitty? Do you audition for the character that you got? Like, what's that like being
Yeah.
involved, that process?
Well, yeah, I auditioned for the character Praveena that I'm playing. When I received the audition, the character's name was Priya, and it was just a tape. It was a simple tape. I went over to my friend's house. She
Yep.
recorded it with me as my reader, and a few days later, I got a call back with David Rappaport, the casting director, and the showrunner Jessica O'Toole. I did the same scene again, and they were like, "Great!" And then nothing. And then a few days later, they're like, "We want you to read with Anna." And then I hopped on a Zoom and I was reading with Anna and then the producers, and David was there, Jessica was there. And again, I didn't hear anything for a few more days. And then I got the call that I was producer's choice and that I was going to be going to Seoul 2 weeks after that. So it was very fast and very crazy.
So it's interesting to me because I feel like in two regards, it's a very unique, interesting, exciting casting kind of situation that you're in specifically with this. Because in one, like your cast that was in season one, it's this whole kind of, you're part of a show that's part of an existing universe that people loved over the years with the To All the Boys, right? So
Yes.
that is kind of like the season one cast, as well as, yourself and Joshua and Audrey, you're all like that. But I feel like you are also in a unique situation because you're joining a show or a world that people have seen for one full season. Like, do you think about that? Because I find that really interesting, right?
I mean, how can you not think about it? Like coming in, people loved season one. There are high expectations. The fans are so excited to see the plot lines and who ends up together and whatnot. So, I mean, it's definitely a lot of pressure and it's a lot of, I want to live up to the expectations, but I'm just super grateful to be a part of this project.
It's funny because there was that deadline announcement, right? Well, there was that big announcement that you were joining season two, right? Like
Yeah.
new cast members. How crazy was that day where like you were finally able to tell people? Because you shot that and it came out.
It was unbelievable. I remember because I was sitting there, we were on Korea time. So the article dropped at like 2 a.m. or something, Korea time. So I was just on my phone in my bed, just waiting for it to hit and then immediately reading through the comments and seeing if people liked me and they're happy with what's going on. And then I had friends and family calling me like, "Hey," because I immediately posted on my story. They're like, "Is this why you're in Korea?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
It's so crazy. And my interviews are very craft based. I don't want to go into like big kind of plot lines or anything about the show because I always love kind of going in fresh with a show, right? I went in fresh with season one of Exo Kitty. I went in fresh with this season. I love the storylines. I love the introduction of your character. You did such an amazing job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I kind of want to know because you see this with your character a little bit, but with others as well. And I'm wondering from an acting storyteller perspective what you think about this because especially in season two, I feel like there's a lot of soul searching and self reflection with a lot of these characters. They're back at the school, they're in Korea. There's a lot of taking things day by day, family, friends, relationships, and everything. I'm just wondering from your perspective, and you can answer this maybe specifically with your character in Exo Kitty or in general, is it more fun or more challenging to play kind of lost characters or characters doing self-reflection? Because like from the viewer perspective, they don't know they're lost, like, right? Like while we're watching it. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious what you think about that from an acting storyteller perspective.
I mean, it's definitely exciting for me to play a character who is finding herself because I am finding myself every day. So it is kind of comforting to play a character that is also going through these experiences that we as humans and people go through all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I feel like they really show that a lot. And I feel like it gets a lot more complicated now because season two, there's more relationships we see that we didn't see in season one. We're introduced to a lot more characters. And I feel like it's this day by day thing. And it has a lot of kind of the heartfelt, fun, goofy moments, but it also has a lot of those kind of deep moments of like, wow, like they need to figure this out if you think about it. Did you read that in the script? Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you notice that in the script specifically, the self
I'm
reflection?
Absolutely. I mean, I think all of the characters from Anna to me to we're all on our own journeys, and that's what I really love about this show is that every character has a struggle to overcome or has something to figure out and has some sort of self-discovery. And I think that's a really beautiful thing to bring into this show, and especially because it is a young adult show. We're in high school, and I think it's so relatable to people who are in high school and who are trying to find themselves.
Absolutely. So much happens before you go to camera on EXO Kitty, right? In Korea.
Yeah.
Like you're figuring everything out, even before you get to Korea, you're figuring everything out. You're doing probably, Zoom table reads or discussing, figuring everything out. So from an acting storyteller perspective, Sasha, you can see it as two journeys, right? Before filming EXO Kitty and after
Totally.
filming EXO Kitty. Or do you see it as one big journey with multiple steps in between? I'm curious about that.
Well, so for me personally, we didn't meet Praveena in season one. She's kind of the new kid. She might have
Yeah.
gone to the school before. She's been traveling around, and that mirrored my own experience joining the show. I was new to the cast. I was new to Korea. I'm really trying to gauge everybody and everything. And I think that it was amazing that I could really just use my own excitement and curiosity about being in Korea as Sasha and put that into Praveena.
Yeah, absolutely. Like also just kind of because that's a journey on its own. So does it feel is that kind of a separate journey than actually going and filming the show in your opinion? Because that's kind of like a finding the character, figuring things out. Then it's like, okay, now we actually have to film this thing, right?
Yeah. I'll be honest, when I got the audition for Priya, now renamed Praveena, I had already kind of built that character out. So for my personal process, I like to, whenever I don't have an audition to do or whenever I'm not working on set, I am in my room building characters. I am in my room thinking, oh, this would be an interesting way to talk or walk or behave, or what if my parents were like this, or what if my family was like this? I do that anyway. So when the audition came in, I'm like, I know what character this is. And I was able to kind of put that into the audition and into the character. And obviously, the more scripts I was getting for each episode, I was able to deepen the character and round it out as I'm learning more. But the bones of Praveena, the bare bones, I had built, I think, a year ago, maybe. Yeah.
The world is gonna meet Praveena on January 16th,
Yeah.
worldwide on Netflix.
Yes.
And it's interesting because this is one of those things where you've worked on this for such a long time. It's been a while. It's a long time coming that this thing is going to be disseminated on Netflix. And then
Yes.
at some point, it's just going to be out of the cast and crew's hands and into the world's hands. How are you starting to kind of, well, are you, like, how do you even prepare for it is the whole other thing. But it's like, what is that kind of preparation like in terms of, having a show that you worked on, having a character be kind of disseminated into the world, so to speak?
I have no idea. This is my first project that I've done that is going to be out. So my preparation process is just being very excited and then Googling like things of ExoKitty and like trying to read Twitter and Instagram. But I have no idea. I'm just kind of figuring out as I go. EXO is coming out. I have a film coming out, and I have another show that I just worked on coming out, and I've never ever had anything out. So we'll see, and I'll let you know once I figure it out how to prepare for it.
I mean, it's on your IMDb. You're in another really good show that I can't wait for people to see. But
I know. I can't wait.
I can't wait for people to see that. They'll, we won't say what it is because we'll just let them figure it out. But it's not like it's on IMDb, like it's there, but it's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do find it really interesting too because you talked about, establishing kind of the foundation for your character and figuring things out and kind of getting there. I kind of want to know what it was like for you, given that this was one of your kind of first projects, right? Like, what was that script to screen journey like for you specifically? Like, what was it like actually like getting the scripts and then actually going and filming it specifically? Because a lot can happen in between as well, which I find is interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, the second I would get the script from the writers, I'd immediately go back to my room, put it up on my iPad, be going over the scenes that I had. And my preparation process is a lot of writing. I
Mhm.
find it like very therapeutic to write out I write out the whole scenes that I'm in. My character, the other character, the stage direction, that kind of helps my brain process it. And then whoever the scene is with, I'm like, hey, what do you think about that? We have this scene coming up. We kind of talk about it a little bit, so there's a sense of familiarity. If it's with Anna, for example, I like on the day of, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to try to do this. And we kind of prepare each other for what we're going for in the scene, and then let it go and let the scene happen and unfold on camera.
Absolutely. Last question, because that's a really good segue, is you're an actor on XO Kitty. People are going to see you acting on the
Yeah.
show. But you're on this show that it's a machine, right? There's an amazing, incredible cast and crew that put this show together, and you're looking at it, and there's a lot of moving parts. Obviously, you're focusing on the acting when you're on the show, because that's what you're there to do. But do you ever think about going behind the camera and like writing, producing, directing when you're on a show like that, where you see everything? Like, do you get inspired at all? Like, I'm curious about that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the directors and
Yeah.
the producers, and seeing how their brain works and how efficient that they are is mind blowing. And for me, I don't think I could necessarily do that or go behind the camera and do what they do and execute in this amazing way that all of our directors and all of our producers and showrunner did. I don't think I could do that yet, but I really do hope one day I can go back and direct some TV and film. I think that would be such a fun full circle moment.
No, absolutely. That's so well said. On January 16th, worldwide, season 2 of
Yeah.
XO Kitty will be dropping on Netflix. Sasha, it's so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Very nice to talk to you.
Absolutely. Is your Instagram account, it's just your name if people want to keep up to date with everything, right?
At Sasha Bhasin, SASHABHASIN.
Awesome. Well, it's been popternative, youtube.com/popternative for previous episodes. You're, of course, going to catch Sasha Bhasin in season 2 of XO Kitty, dropping worldwide on Netflix January 16th. Till next time, this is Sasha and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.